Hello, my name is Jim Murphy. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator here at Rhode Island College. I handle all of our green initiatives, recycling, waste minimization, renewable energy efficiencies. But what I'm most proud of is the Rhode Island College Bee Education Center. This year we're currently managing 4 beehives at the Bee Education Center. Each hive has anywhere from 25 to 60,000 bees. The bees are pollinating just about everything on campus. They fly in a 3-mile radius of the campus, pollinating all types of flowers, vegetables. Bees actually pollinate 1/3 of everything we eat. They've been on campus now for 10 years. This is our 10th year. Basically, we started with 2 beehives. We now have 4. Bees have gotten they've had problems over the past 30 years with what we call colony collapse disorder. And that's a combination of a few things that are detrimental to the bees. One is monocropping. If they're only getting one source of food, that isn't very good for their nutritional diet. They're also subject to a pesticide called neonicotinoid, and it's a nicotine-based pesticide that messes up their navigation skills, and they can't get back to the hive once they're exposed to this chemical. And the other is the varroa mite, which is a pest that came into the country about 25 years ago, and it's a pest that eats the exoskeleton of the bee, and it also feeds on the larvae inside the beehive. So studying all of these hopefully will give us some insight as to how to better take care of the pollinators that we need for our food chain. We have a great relationship with with 2 specific organizations. The Rhode Island Beekeepers Association. They do 2 classes to teach beginner beekeepers. We offer them here on campus in February. They run a 6-week program, and we offer 2 sections. And again, runs 6 weeks. It's open to the public, not just for our matriculating students. It's about $65 per student, and you get all the books and handouts necessary. It also gives you your first year subscription to the Rhode Island Beekeepers Association. They have a great Facebook page which beekeepers, especially newbies, can ask questions of other beekeepers throughout the state. Our other relationship is with the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, in particularly Jim Lawson, who is the state bee inspector. Jim has a number of years' experience. He and a member of the Rhode Island Beekeepers Association, Ed Lafferty, have been great mentors to me over the years in bringing public education on pollinators to people in the state of Rhode Island. All beehives are 90% female. There are 3 types of bees. There is the queen bee. She lays the eggs. She is the most important part of the hive. Then there's the worker bee. That moniker is very apropos because they do all the work. And then there's the drone. The drone is the male. It makes up 10% of the population of the hive, and their sole job is to mate with queens, and that queen can then lay up to 1,500 eggs a day. The average lifespan of a bee in the summertime, spring and summer when they're the busiest, is about 6 weeks. They live a little longer in the wintertime when they're hibernating for the winter. They do that in what we call a cluster, and they surround the queen in a ball, and they keep her warm all winter long. So when you go into the fall and winter with 50 or 60,000 bees, if you get 10,000 in the spring with the queen, then you've been successful, and then that queen can start building out the population of the hive. We have 3 official hives on campus. We have Queen Latifah, Queen Beatrice, and Queen Elizabeth. And the 4th hive that we have this year is the result of us catching a swarm. Now, when a hive is growing out at a faster pace than what they can make space for, a second queen is created, and that queen then takes half of the bees with her and leaves the hive. That's called a swarm, and basically they're freebies, because if you catch a swarm, it's a fully active hive. We know that this came from off campus because we bought our packages with unmarked queens. When I found the queen in this hive, it was marked with a blue dot, which means it came from another beekeeper's hive. So they swarmed and found their way to the Rhode Island College campus. Okay, the first thing a beekeeper needs is protection. So we have 16 or 17 bee suits. We do live presentations in the hive. You can come up and we'll suit you up with a bee suit, but it is for your best protection when you're opening up hives to have a suit on, or at least a veil that protects your face. Having a good pair of gloves also protects your hands when you're opening up the beehives. When you're pulling out frame after frame and looking for the queen and making sure that there's eggs and larvae and brood in the frames, having a good pair of gloves to protect your hands is very important. Having a good hive tool is also very important. What happens with the bees is they secrete a substance called propolis, and it seals up all the cracks in the hive. So you're constantly splitting the boxes apart and pulling out the frames that are covered and sealed with this propolis. The propolis is basically their way of keeping the wind and rain out of the beehive. Finally, the best tool to confuse the bees when you're going into the beehive is the smoker. Bees communicate through a pheromone, which is the sense of smell. Basically, when they sting you, they leave that pheromone on you, and it is a signal to the other bees to sting you there, or it signals them as to what to sting. The smoke interferes with that communication process, and they go into the hive and stay in the hive because of the smoke. And it's a great tool when you're trying to look for brood and you want the bees to be in the hive rather calm and tame. This is a jar of Rhode Island College honey. We call it a taste of Rhode Island College. And basically, every year we pull out about 200 pounds of honey from the bees. We leave enough on there for them to get through the winter, but we take off what is extra. We use it on campus. Donovan Dining Center uses a couple of gallons a year. They make a great baklava. They make a honey barbecue sauce. They use it in a number of different things, including a honey mint salad dressing. And the mint is grown on campus in our garden, and it's made by Dean Faiolo, the executive chef at Donovan Dining Center. We do a lot of public education in addition to giving our students an opportunity to study them. So we have classes such as anthropology, chemistry, biology, all bringing students here to learn about pollination. But we also bring in about 200 kids a year from K to 12 schools across the state. And they learn everything we can teach them about the importance of bees in our world.